Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is The Assignment TV, and today's assignment is Bel Air Season 1, Episode 1. You can see here already it's just a spin-off, a reboot, a remake of The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, with Will Smith obviously being the main character. The first thing that stood out to me, besides the name, was the crown here, because I spoke about Falling Water, how that black and green crown with the eye in the center of it was also connected with basketball. And that basketball sport will come up later on, as well as a basketball player. And black and green will also come up as well. So that crown, black and green, all linked to basketball. And then we see Bel Air. So let's break down Bel Air. Now, Bel is a demon, right? He is featured in many demonological, I don't know how to pronounce that, grimoires. It says that Bel is described as a hoarsely voiced king with the power to make men invisible and ruling over 66 legions of demons. So there's that 6 or 12 if you see 12 symbology as well. It says that he also can also appear in the form of a cat, toad, man, or some combination of both. It also says that Bel is related to the Canaanite deity Baal. So basically you see that it can be spelled in multiple ways. If you think about Beauty and the Beast, Beauty's name was Belle, spelled Belle, but again, the Beast and the Beast essentially. And I think Belle had a yellow dress on too, so I'll speak about yellow a little bit later. Also, it says that Bel possesses the power of invisibility. So remember, the name of the show is Bel Air. Air is invisible, right? So there's a demon, the demon of air, the demon of invisibility, basically is what the title says. And then the next part says power to garner the favor of others, right? Popularity. And Will's character is a popular character, but ruling only 6 legions of demons. And he not only has the power of invisibility, but he has also the power of sciences and love. Well, that was interesting because, science, doctors, the virus, alleged virus that's going around. And then you see that it says that Bel, of the book, or I don't know if it's a book, but of the demon rulers, he is the king. There's that crown reference, of course, right? Ruled by Orions, attributed with teaching science, and again granting invisibility and controlling 250 legions of spirits. But it tells you again that his gifts include invisibility and popularity, right? There's that Will Smith character. So that's just a breakdown of Bel Air. A little background also, is it? Oh yeah, so it's just showing you the heads, the cat and the toad. It looks like spider legs. Did I mention that? There's a character spider on black ink. And again, with the elements, air, fire, you see air is kind of hands raised, questioning what sign with both arms. The rock is the fire. They're going to talk about the rock a little bit later. They'll mention that, Jay-Z. And then you see that's fire when you throw up that triangle. You flip the triangle, it's water. There's going to be mentions of these elements. So just keep that in mind. And then there's earth. So here's the opening, right? You see the gold. I've talked about gold in my other videos, as well as linking it to the periodic table. But there's Bel Air in gold with that crown in the center. This is how it opens. What's a king without a crown? Then you see crown. You see how many times they keep trying to plant that crown word in there for you. The pressure to become a king instead of just like an African American adult, and just see how it goes from there. But anyway, you see that on the walls it looks like runes, like glowing runes. It kind of pulsates a little bit with these golden hieroglyphics, I guess, on the wall. As we get closer to Will on the throne, hieroglyphics on the wall also matching his shirt. That graffiti on his shirt matches, and his shirt looks like it's black and white, so there's that black and white symbolism. But also notice the 1 and the 9, so keep in mind that 1 and 9 alphabetically make AI, artificial intelligence. So keep that 1, 9 in mind, because I'm definitely going to bring that up later. But besides that, you see the crown, you see it's right underneath that A, which means you're doing well, you're doing good, you're supposed to be doing this, etc. Of course. And then we get a little bit closer on that very detailed crown. It does look like a paper crown in the title. I noticed the way that it's like kind of origami-ish, oriental in a way. And this kind of looks like that too, like foil, like cut foil, and then just insert it in different ways to make it stand up, if that makes sense. But that's him on the throne, right? You can see the 1919 a little bit closer, that AI. And then the next shot here, we have he's drawing the crown. So you see that diamond in the center and those 3 points. And as I mentioned before, that black and green crown with the eye in it from the show Falling Water, season 1, episode 1, 11 again, also connects with basketball. So you see him drawing it. Of course, one thing leads, and you'll see that black and green mentioned later. And the teacher's name that puts the test down on top of his doodle, his crown doodle there, her name is Miss Kirk Wood. And I pointed out before that Wood is also green. So keep in mind that's a green and black crown. And then water is black. This is the Woot King chart. So wood can also be blue, but here it is green. It's mostly represented by green because Hollywood, California, LA, right? So you see the different colors and what they represent here in that pentagram. Okay, so this is something I noticed that was like very strange in the beginning. I thought they were going to get around to what happened to this kid here, but he definitely had like a Wendy Williams when she had that. Well, I just learned too that this was a representation of Baphomet or transgender. The Statue of Liberty, Lady Liberty, when Wendy Williams had that Lady Liberty outfit on and she stumbled all of a sudden, she looks like she was being possessed or she just saw like a demon or something and she stumbled back. Watch this guy here with the bleach blonde hair ritual. Watch him. You see number 14 playing against number 14 in black and green. Keep in mind that black and green again, and also the duality of 14 and 14. I mentioned 11 and 11, but okay, so let's play. Look at him. You saw that? Just all of a sudden stumbled back like something took. And then you see the guy right there helping him. Right, I'll play it again. All right, there he is there, right? Standing just fine. Nobody's bumping into him. And all of a sudden, whoop, right as that black and green gets into the shot. Ward. Right, pushes number 2. There's that duality. 1 + 1 is 2. Black and green on the ground. Black and white referee comes up. You see this guy right here in the corner helping him up. I thought they were going to get over to what this was, but right as he is helping him up, he lets out Will's character lets out like this at the guy that just fell down in the black and green. And it's like, I get that he's passionate because, you know, he just dunked on him. He just made a shot and he's like, yeah, look what I did. You know, I get it. But the scream that he let out, I would play it, but then they won't let me play this part. And that's really what's important. But the scream that he lets out is crazy. Like, it's like something just left him and like maybe entered him. I don't know what just happened, but if you listen to it, you watch the episode and you listen to the way he screams, it's a bit much, even for to have made that shot. Like, calm down. It's not the NBA. But anyway, you see the guy lift him up here and everyone's cheering and it just goes on and like they never address what happened over there. Never. But anyway, again, you see the 14. And then you see that the other guy was number 14 and you see him here just before. That blonde hair ritual is real. Come on, you can't tell me that MK mind control, like, come on, like, what just happened there? What's the explanation? Okay. So, no coincidence. You allow them to process and bleach. You never know. All that bleaching and processing, that's not healthy. All right, so here's just a shot here. You see the lions and you see the guy. I guess he's doing just fine. All right, okay, so I took a picture of the scoreboard here. I don't know if you noticed, but you see the exit sign is even in black and green. When have you ever seen a black and green with exit sign? It's usually like the the word is in white and the background is in red, or the word is in red and the background is in white, but conveniently exit black and green. So I pointed out earlier that green and black crown being related to basketball in the show Falling Water. This is the show Falling Water. You see everyone else here is skins, but the 3 main people here are white, wearing white, green, and black, right? And again, from the same show, that black and green crown, the kid with the green on, remember green is wood, Hollywood is in California. This takes place in Los Angeles. The show takes place in Bel Air takes place in Los Angeles. Falling Water takes place in New York. So, but that's what I'm distinguishing. You see that he has on the green with that crown cut out in the back of his hair. That basketball player. And then the basketball player that was pushed down again with that black and green on in the show Bel Air, wearing number 2. 1 + 1 is 2. And we're on season 1, episode 1. All right, in this shot here, we have what is his name? Freeway with the ball. And then I noticed that Will's cousin Carlton is number 5. So we know 5 is a master number because the 5-pointed star, as I pointed out earlier, the pentagram, which is a star, is used in witchcraft and to basically summon. They want to summon lower energies. And then you see Will in his 14. It's like red and silver. I think I spoke a little bit about silver as well on my Instagram. In this shot here, the blatant black, white, and red symbolism. The kid is wearing black and white with his hair bleached blonde. Remember that kid that just had like a seizure earlier, unexplained seizure, possession essentially. But you see him here standing on the bike in the black and white in the diner. It's interesting that this black and white is on a diner on something food related. And I pointed out on my Instagram a little bit about Kill Bill and how the color symbolism related to McDonald's. And so that's just a little bit side bit about that. And then you see in the same shot here, they got Will and his mother. They made sure they got them in that black and white. And then you see the red hand. And then they got the little diner sign with the red in the back. So there's that black, white, and red. And I mentioned the elements earlier, right? The earth, wind, and fire, basically. But there's water. And then the color symbolism here with the yellow. Charlie's is written in green, that dark green. I spoke about the Ivy Park, right, that Beyonce has with Adidas. All Day I Dream About Sex is what that stands for. All coded visually, colors, numbers. But you see here the ice is in red. There's that ivy color. There's wood that links to green as well. So it all links in the colors, the words, the numbers. Mom with her red pants. So I noticed here she mentioned the GOAT, the GOAT. Now I know GOAT stands for the greatest of all time, but it also refers to the Baphomet, which is what they worship when you practice crafts or sun worship or things of that nature. They typically worship the Baphomet, which is just another name for a goat. And then next, and I just noticed that umbrella is going to match some colors later. She brings up, this is Will's mom. She mentions that 14. Remember, he was number 14, or his jersey number is 14. And the kid that he was playing against when that other kid was being possessed, was being taken over, looked like the Wendy Williams. His number was also 14, the one that was wearing the black and green. And she mentions the crown, but adds a little bit of pressure. Crown is waiting when you're ready to find it, etc. So here I noticed that color symbolism again. There's that green, that dark green, the red and the blue. See them here. They are also wearing the black and white symbolism. Will looks like he's got both black and white on. Again, I'll just remind you of what these colors symbolize. Right? And this wood can be green or blue. Also falls into that, all linked together. This was just explaining a little bit more about the Wu King chart. White, which represents metal, is connected with death and funerals. And then yellow can be connected with power or symbolic of pornography. Black is water. It symbolizes destruction, evil, profundity, disasters, cruelty, sadness, and suffering. It is bad fortune, essentially bad luck, irregularity, illegality. I mean, can't get any worse than that. We all know that black is usually symbolized with something negative, right? So it's no different in Asian culture, it appears. And then blue or green for wood symbolizes immortality. I'm probably definitely going to point out the number 8, how things add up to 8, or the infinity symbol is also 8. So that immortality. And then those colors reminded me of the recent episode of Growing Up Hip Hop LA, right? The show is also in LA. With that blue, that red, the green, and the yellow. And then this is Polo, and Polo makes those pedo bears, is what I'm going to call them. And basically, you see that they use those colors. All the shows basically kind of connect with each other using that coded color symbolism. And remember that, keep in mind this date on the back for later. And then again in the same Growing Up Hip Hop episode, JoJo Simmons coincidentally had a colorful jacket on as well, with that red, the green, the yellow, right? And then you can see on the back of it, winners, right? Just JoJo Simmons, the dark green at the bottom. So back to Bel Air. You see here, everyone else is wearing black. The character here has the yellow on. That stood out right in the middle of the diamond. And I'm not sure what this animal is here. Maybe lions. I think the team was lions, right? That he was playing for, that Will was playing for. With the red. And then you see the black and white here on the bottom of the jacket and around the sleeves. And this guy here has that pedo ice cream on it. And then also that symbol, I know, is also a pedo symbol. But you see here with the off-white, again, that Virgil Abloh off-white, the color white, and it's black and white symbolism as well, right? So it's a little bit what's going on there in that shot, the ice cream. And then 7 plus 6 is 13. I'm pretty sure I'll bring up 13 again. But that's definitely a master number. 13 is, what did I say? Oh, 13 is AL, looks like AI on the periodic table. There's that 1, 3, and it is in group 13. So 13. On the scoreboard, I believe it was a 4, right? So 1 plus 3 is 4. Next, here I noticed that 11, I keep pointing out the number 11, right? That duality. And then, of course, 2. Okay, so here when Will was on his way to Bel Air for the first time, this weird figurine in the back of Jazz's blue car, he has that green jacket on, again with that dark green, the yellow. You notice a lot of green and yellow, and it looks like a little bit of a swirl here, but I know that's just that little backseat thing. And then here on this shot, Jazz mentions air. You got enough air back there. Name of the show is Bel Air. Even the shirt that Will has on kind of looks like the crowns, right? The crown that he drew looks the mountains, right? And then you see the black and white dice right there. And then when Will is trying to clarify what Jazz asked him, you see he mentions Northwest. There's that kind of Kanye sub there. Northwest is Kanye West's child. And wasn't it North that's been in the media a lot lately? So one thing links to the other. And if you've ever been on Ye's page, if you've recently been on his Instagram page, you can see how creepy and lowered energy that page is. Kanye West's Instagram page is, excuse me. This is just a better shot here. You see the black and white dice hanging. 4 plus 2, 6. 3s. We spoke about 6s earlier, but that was what we see here. Or you could do 4 plus 2. I'm sorry, what is it? 6 plus 2, right? Because it's kind of turned. But anyway, 6 plus 2 is 8. Either way you want to look at it. But this just gives a better shot of that figurine, the mountains looking like the crown. Okay, so, and I just noticed Jazz has like a lot of gold jewelry. You know, gold is the theme here. Here, of course, I noticed that red and blue, right, in the pictures. Looks like 1 for blue, 2 for red, right? So that's 1 and 2. That 12 that I mentioned earlier, the 6 plus 6, the 2 6s from the Bell description. And also you kind of see the duality with the 2 staircases. And the 2 plants, the 2 green plants, the ivy. Okay, so here, I mentioned earlier, right, that AI, that Allen Iverson. So Will, and what's this, the house manager Jeffrey, um, have a little exchange here where Will mentions that he better not find his Allen Iverson, which makes AI, right? And that links into what I was saying about AI earlier with the periodic table. And AI is artificial intelligence. And Will, in the beginning, had the 1-9, the AI, and like golden glowing graffiti behind him as he sat on a throne. So there's a lot of that AI 1-9 subliminals in there or subs. But Jeffrey responds that AI is a legend, Allen Iverson, but he's always been a King Kobe KK 1111. K is the 11th letter, right? King Kobe fan. And then of course we know Kobe Bryant, KB, BK. BK is on the periodic table, but keep that BK Brooklyn reference in mind. But anyway, what they do here is interesting because they do that Masonic pledge, putting that one finger over your lips symbology that many people have pointed out. I guess keeping the secrets of whatever you're told when you become a mother son, a ma son, a mason. But anyway, he does the sign. This is Jeffrey, and then he kisses it, and then he points to the sky, right, as a reference to Kobe. And then Will's character does the same thing, does the sign, kisses it, and then points up to the sky, or kisses his finger and then points up to the sky. So kind of took a little bit of an oath there. Okay, so here Hillary Banks with her H. Look up H on the periodic table. It's number 1. It's also in group 1. There's 1-1. There's that 11. But anyway, I noticed these weird pictures on the wall. I guess it's like a car dealership. I remember the commercial where like the arms are waving around. But I, of course, see here, one is blue, one is red, one is yellow. That's no coincidence. There's 1 and then there's 2, right? There's 1 character in this picture and then there's 2 characters in this. And I just pointed out when he was entering those 2 pictures on the wall, one had 1 person in it and then the other picture had 2 people in it, right? The red and the blue picture. So that's no mistake there. And then you see Hillary has her, speaking of Beyonce, she has her, I'm not sure if it's houndstooth or herringbone. I always mix them up, but it's in that pink and white. I pointed out pink on my Instagram. If you want a little bit more of a description, please check that out. But you see her here doing that. It looks kind of like the air ritual, the pentagram symbol that I pointed out earlier. Or if you just want to look at it, it definitely makes a W. There was no mistake there. Right as we get that black and white checkered board right there in the same shot. We'll get a clearer shot later. And then Will with his crown. It all pieced together very well there. All right, so this is Will coming out. You see him again with that same kind of pose in between that duality. Even the case behind him here, I can't think what you call it, but you see it's got the duality, right? One side is white, one side is black. You get a clearer view of that checkerboard that it's got to pop up somewhere. They got to put it in, I guess. So there it is. And then you see they slid it in here, more black and white. You'll see it later. And even the book, the LV, Louis Vuitton, is in black and white as well, right? Again, with the checker, this is Falling Water that I pointed out with the basketball players in the green and black. They also have their own red, black, and white symbology. It all ties in, right? Okay, so this scene was when Will saw Lisa for the first time, and he makes that like, wow, she's beautiful, like, with his lips. I can't do it, but I'm gonna show what it reminded me immediately. I couldn't catch it, but this is that moment when he did it, but it was before. What he looked like was this. When Jay-Z, this picture they put out, they intentionally put this out, of course, and look, he's wearing the green. Keep pointing out green, and that number 2. What are the odds? But when Jay first saw Beyonce, he made that face. Couldn't catch it, but couldn't screenshot it soon enough. But funny enough, he goes up to the new Uncle Phil / Morris Chestnut lookalike. He goes up to him and says, "Wow, this party's crazy. It's like the Rock Nation brunch." And I'm like, I just pointed out how that they made that intentionally. Come on. He made that face intentionally and it looked just like Jay-Z. And he conveniently, coincidentally, I'll never know a word, but brings up Roc Nation next. And it looks here like, I don't know if this is a dark blue or a black. Maybe it's the resolution of my computer screen, but it's giving me blue and red. I mentioned that red and blue duality. And then you can kind of see a little bit better here. I think that was blue. Again, with that black and white checkerboard flag in the middle of that duality. 1, 2, 1, 2. And he's doing the hand thing I just noticed. Okay. And then this shot I thought was interesting here because this art, like right above what looks like a altar, I don't know, maybe just because it's lit, but it doesn't even match the theme of the rest of the room. And I can't quite tell what it is, but it stood out to me as like struggle or hard work. It looks like one of those type of pictures where it's like, this is what it looks like the silhouettes. Somebody's pulling something, somebody's digging, somebody's sitting, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe about to get into this. I can't tell what's going on here. Is something being pulled up? All right, so that's that. That just stood out to me as strange. I noticed that white horse, again with the biblical references, the pale horse. I mentioned 13 earlier, 7 plus 6, 13. Angels, black and white symbology, the angel wings. The beta sex kitten, what is it? The leopard, wearing that leopard clothing, sign of MK programming. And then here I noticed that Hillary had on the LGBTQ flag colors, the pastel pink. Actually, it's not I think it's the trans flag. It's not the LGBTQ. Sorry, it's the trans flag colors. Conveniently here, the pink, the white, and the baby blue. All right, so here's what it looks like. So they're kind of putting Hillary in a lot of pink. I noticed she had that pink that I mentioned on earlier. She's got the pink on here, and it also looks like the black and white right around that collar. So there's that trans flag. Then the map one has just the yellow at it. The mother in the black and white. You can see that black and white again. A little shout out to Issa Rae, but again that yellow background. But you see Issa Rae, that logo character, I guess you call it, the awkward black girl. It says I'm awkward, and it kind of looks like it says I'm an award. Honestly, the way it's kind of creased there, but we'll get into gifts later. But it looks like the headband is green, the hair is black, kind of gives me that black and green, and then she's got kind of a little pentagram star right there, intentionally placed in her hair in this shot. And then Carlton with his uniform on, you see Bel-Air is in yellow. Again with that yellow and what that symbolizes earlier. Next shot, Carlton's car is red, and then Jazz's car was blue, so there's that red and blue. Notice that they mentioned birthday, as I just mentioned, the award, the birthday, the presents. That all kind of ties into when they mentioned birthday. I remember listening to this documentary where the psychiatrist was talking about a patient she had that was having a hard time. She was struggling with addiction because, when she was younger, she's basically trying to cope with the fact that when she was younger, she was given away by her parents as a gift to her friends, to her parents' friends. So, you can imagine for what type of favors you would give a child to an adult to or for. So when I hear birthday references or gift references, I know that Ralph Lauren teddy bear was a gift to Ralph Lauren, and that teddy bear symbology definitely alludes, connects with pedophilia. I don't know how the algorithms work yet, so check out my IG page and you'll see what teddy bears go into. And birthday presents and gifts, because you can give gifts for Christmas. But moving on here's that Iverson jersey he was speaking about in the black, white, and red, right? But there's that AI, artificial intelligence jersey in black, white, and red with the 3, 3 being C, right? And alphabetically 1, 2, 3, ABC, and then the girl here right in that yellow. Okay, so seeing the front of the black, white, and red jersey, three Sixers, three sixes, right? That automatically makes three sixes right there. And then the Adidas, I pointed out that houndstooth, herringbone, light pink thing they have going on for Hillary. All Day I Dream About Sex is Adidas. Beyonce has that connection now because that's what Ivy Park, so that goes into the dark green, etc., etc. You get it. So when Will is talking with Lisa, he mentions that her time, you see here that pentagram star, before I forget, that pentagram star and the blue and the red with the basketball player in white. But and then the upside down triangle, I think I pointed out on that ritual pentagram. What was that? Was that air, water? One of those. Anyway, just go back. You'll see it. But her score is 22.64. 22 plus 64, 86. 8 plus 6, 14. And he is number 14, right? That's his jersey number. And number 14 is also silicon on the periodic table. That is atomic number 14 and falls into group 14. So there's that double 14 again. Don't forget when that guy had that seizure earlier, he happened to have it when those two 14s were playing. Both players wearing number 14 were playing, right? Okay, so he mentions the Mamba mentality, snake mentality. What is the devil represented as in the Bible or whatever version that you may have? He is definitely represented as a snake. So to have snake mentality, again, goes into that lower energy mentality, poor mentality, essentially. But there's the 8, that 8 that I mentioned, the infinity, the bottom of the Leviathan, lower energy worship. I don't like to say the word so many times, so I like to just say lower energy. Lower energy when they worship those things. The bottom of that cross that they worship has an 8 or an infinity because it's sideways. So it's just another way to kind of throw that code in there. And you see she's in in blue, navy blue, and red. Okay, so in this scene, of course, with all this black and white duality, there is the pitting of black people against white people by, I guess, trying to drive in the point that behind closed doors, allegedly, that there are people other than those of color, or actually, let's just say black people, because some people don't even like Hispanic people saying it. So whatever. We're supposed to believe that behind closed door, they're just throwing around the N-word, or they can say it whenever they want to say it. And let's start that debate. So of course they have a scene in this show where a young white man is standing on top and he is throwing out the N-word here, as you see here. And this is Bobby Shmurda's song. And if you've seen my Junebug video, I mentioned how Junebug in his interview says that the Bobby Shmurda dance is where he got his Junebug viral TikTok dance from. And remember, Junebug wears the black and that green. So there's that black and green symbolism again. But the word Monte also reminded me of Angela Simmons has a, I guess you can call it kids clothing line, but they also sell like shoes and accessories. It's called We Are Little Giants. It's in New York. It's specifically in Brooklyn. Keep that BK in mind. BK is also on the, what am I saying? The periodic table. So there's also BK there, but you can already see here that black, white, and red again. And then you see the Montes, right? I've written right off the air, and we're talking about the show Bel Air. We just found out who the king of the air invisibility is. So there's that air and that Montes on that black, white, and red. And then it is on the eye page. So there's that one eye symbolism connection. And then if you look at the little symbols here, it looks like a sideways piece. And then maybe a triangle in the middle of a heart, but you get it. I mean, this whole page is a little bizarre, to be honest. You can see more that the 1, 2, 3s, the ABCs, there's that lowercase g, which goes into that Masonic G, that I've also pointed out on my IG page as well. But you see all that black, white, and red symbolism here, and the Masonic, that G. Again, she makes the shoes with the G as well. So this is the We Are Little Giants, or I keep want to say We Are Little Giants, but Little Giants page, Little Giants shorties. You see that 33, that Masonic 33 there, 3 plus 3 and 6, the LA references. So just the style of the clothes, like I get the play on words, but some of the shirts say follow Griselda, and Griselda is a coat, like Griselda is a known gang affiliated cocaine, what is she, drug trafficking, like that is what Griselda is known as. Why would you make children's shirts that say follow Griselda? But that is what is on this page if you just go through it. But you see here serial killers, like I get it, but it's still a little creepy to have your child again with the black, white, and red, like, and it's in a black hoodie. Trayvon Martin, isn't that the whole black hoodie thing? The Fruity Pebbles, this is all put in here intentionally. You can just go through, like, why would you dress your child like this, but then on the same token try to teach them don't go out into the world and become criminals because you're, as just being a black person or just being a person of color, you're going to be seen as a criminal. But then we make clothing lines like this. Okay, yeah, for our young ones. Let me see if I can find the Griselda. Just looking at this 9, still looks like the G, the dreams. Keep that dreams, the bucket hats. Bucket is a term in basketball, right? For when you make a shot, it's bucket. More of the 33. I got to figure out who's number 33. Kid on the green seat. Like none of this is by mistake. Okay, so here is the listen to Griselda. I'm just going to show it on the full page. So if you ever want to go through it, you know what this go down to. But just look up Griselda. She has no good affiliation. Like, why would you have that on a children's shirt? Like, do you see this? What? Why would... This is a page for children's clothing. You see it, right? Peace and condolences to his children, his family, his friends, and his fans. Artwork by our he couldn't have drawn anything else. Look, Chris Osfu. We couldn't have drawn anything else for a children's page to commemorate DMX. Okay. It's deep in here, but as I'm scrolling, I'm just gonna point out little things that I see. That checkered black and white. There's other colors of checkered or plaid, by the way. But black and white. Smiley face. I just had a picture of Eve that I posted and she had that yellow smiley face with a little mark under one eye right behind her. And she was covering one eye, so there's that. All right, it's pretty deep in here. It wasn't as deep when I first came across it, but it is now because it's in 2020. As you see here, it says December 6th, 2020 that this picture was posted. But this is the post that has the Monte's shoe on it. So let me just pull up this is what it'll look like if you do decide to look for it yourself. But you can see here the books that she has, and starts off with that red, black, and white shoe. Look at the numbers that come up. 1, 4, 11. right again with that black, white, and red connected with that 1 and that 1 again, black and red with the 12, 6 by 6. You see how deep the Monte shoe is, right? I'm still going. There it is. And then there's more after it. So yeah, go ahead and check out this page. The references to Griselda alone are bizarre to me, but okay. So that was just that connection there that I noticed. And then I can't find it on the page, but if you scroll down in there, I noticed that on one of the pages in her book, she has a Jazzy Jeff, JJ, right? There's those duplicate letters again, reference to Bel Air. And that's the show we're talking about. Actually, let me look real quick. Let me see what letter J. J is the 10th letter, 2 J's, 10, 10, I-O, or also 10 plus 10 is 20. 2 plus 0. And then I was going through Angela's page and noticed her in that beta Texan cheetah leopard print from head to toe. Okay, so back to the show. After Will pretty much flips out on the white character for using the N-word in the Bobby Shmurda song, and just he ends up getting into a fight with Carlton here. You see Carlton in his Black and Blue. I feel like that's like an NSYNC album, Black and Blue. But you see that connection there. And then so what's the name? Aunt Viv, V-I-V, V is 5. Aunt Viv comes over and tries to break them up, and Carlton mentions, we're just having a spirited, so there's that spirit, but what kind of spirits? There's lower energy spirits, higher energy spirits. And then he mentions again spirited debate, so that spirited just stood out to me. And as they walk away, I notice Aunt Viv in that dark green again, as Will has his 3 Sixers on right next to her. I remember earlier when I pointed out those colorful jackets that were worn in Growing Up Hip Hop LA, matching the colors that Will and his friend were standing against that wall, and how he had the number on the back of his shirt. I'm sorry, the 1967 on the back of his jacket. What was his name? Lazy Bone. You see that 1991 is on this. And then what colors are red, yellow, there's that green and black. Red, yellow, green, and black. Again, just as reference to what I was speaking of. And you see the 1967. And then, all right, and the DJ with her black and white stripe. You get it. And the cheetah print. Looks like her outfit is cheetah print. So the 2-in-1 MK sub there. So I noticed in this scene that Carlton's outfit had the shells on the back of it as he was walking away. And I just posted about Kyrie Irvington and how his initials make K. Remember that K is 11, AI, because Kyrie Andrew Irvington. And we just talked about how AI is that 19, right? But KAI also means sea or shell. And he just had an outfit full of seashells, right? So there's a little connection there. And Kyrie Irvington with the basketball, of course, and wearing the black and white. And then just a little review. There's K, and then there's A. It's AL, but it looks like AI, right? That's how AI is also written. But K is also number 19. So it all falls in together. K, 19, 1 now. Or you just do KAI, which falls under 13, group 13. You get it. So anyway, moving on back to the show. Carlton's best friend, the guy that was saying the N-word, also happens to be wearing that light pink, light blue, and then in between the stripes looks like the color yellow. So back again to that flag. That's definitely an MAP flag symbol, which is minor attracted persons. Basically just another word for PEDO. So there's that. And then when Carlton pushes Will into the pool, the way that he falls down again goes back to Falling Water for me with that red and black symbolism. But the cover of Falling Water, you see that connection there. And also, I think, what is this, Ladies? Yeah, Ladies Who List ATL. I ended up watching the first episode of this because I noticed a lot in these sisterhood, brotherhood type of shows. Of course, there's going to be that black and white symbology and the W, Will Smith. And then, did I point out W? Let me just look at W. Because there's also, oh, sorry, I meant to point out H that I said earlier. And then W is number 74 here, right? And 7 plus 4 is 11. And we were talking about 11. All right, let's move on. All right, so in this scene here, you see them about to jump into the pool. And it reminded me of when he pushed them into the pool. Because I'm like, why would 2 grown women dressed in nice dresses hop into a pool to commemorate? Like, so they have to get out dripping wet and wet dresses and wet hair. Like, it's definitely a constructed scene. And now that I just noticed here that this, what is this, a Jeep? When I pointed out in the Junebug challenge video about Saweetie when she did her Junebug challenge. It looks like she was on this exact same car, white with the 3 black windows, and behind her was something that was also white and black with 3 black and white windows. So it's all connected. But you see the black and white symbology, the pool symbology connecting to the Bel Air show. But as he falls down right back into that dream that he had at the beginning with the throne. There's that crown again, right, with the glow of light behind it, like an angel almost is what they're trying to imply, like an angelic positive thing. Not really. And then when he gets out the pool, they make sure they get a close up of only the word cross. So again, that's alluding to that biblical mockery. What is it, like jumping into a pool or falling into a pool is like being baptized essentially. So of course, when I'm doing my editing, I notice some things that I'm like, oh, that's what I meant to point out there. So here you see Will and his friend with the jerseys on, 14 and 5. Been pointing out this whole time. AI 19, 14 plus 5 equals 19. So there's that AI connection right there in this shot. Another number association that I've meant to point out. So I did add up the 4 plus 2 is 6, right? And then 6 plus 2 equals 8. So 6 plus 8 equals 14. And that, of course, is Will's basketball jersey number. And I think I pointed out as well that crown that we see in the middle of the Bel Air logo title page also looks like the 3 mountains that he has here on his shirt. Lastly, I meant to point out when Will mentions Mamba mentality, Eminem, Marilyn Monroe. There's that Eminem connection. And then, let me just find it real quick. M is also the 13th letter in the alphabet. So again, with the 13. And on his shirt, I was trying to associate that upside down triangle with that star, that pentagram star in it, is also ritual of the pentagram, is the water on that chart is represented by an upside down triangle. And he is standing over Lisa, who is in a pool of water. So there's that water to water. And then lastly, that 8, right? I mentioned that 8 is also the infinity, but 8 is also a snake eating its tail. I have to find the picture where the snake is eating its tail, but it makes the 8 shape, or the shape of an 8. And as he mentioned, the Mamba mentality, Mamba snake, right in front of the 8. You get it. But those are just a few things I was like, oh, I could have pointed that out. I meant to point that out. I don't know if I pointed out also the black and yellow that they're wearing, the black and yellow. That wizard was Khalifa. Black and yellow is also a bee. Beyonce has the beehive. You get it. Right, with that bell in the shot. Bell being the demonic lower energy. And lastly, this is probably not the best shot for this, but Hillary with the H necklace, you can see the crown better here, but with the H necklace, I meant to point out that H is the 8th letter. So again, with that 8, that infinity. But those are just a few things that I noticed that I forgot to point out. So that is the end of my symbolic, subliminal messaging, decoding connections that I have made today. I hope that you enjoyed. If you are interested in more symbolism, please check out my Instagram page, and you'll find a little bit more detail on what I'm speaking about today. I hope that you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.